This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. Plus, she was helping a neighbor. A man she'd never met.
She was shot by a rapist.
Now she's fighting for her life.
You gotta hurry, please.
On Rescue 911.
On August 19th, 1991, Pat Douglas was dropping her daughter Portia off at her apartment after a dinner out together in their hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana. Neither of them had any sense of the terrifying events that were about to happen.
I thought I would stop by Portia's apartment to pick up a hat that I wanted to borrow. As I was sitting there, I noticed a young man looking out the window and kind of pacing back and forth. And at the time, I thought that was rather unusual behavior. I sort of had a mother instinct that something wasn't right about that. But then when Portia came down the steps, I totally forgot about him.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I never thought it would happen that that kind of violence would touch my life in any kind of personal way.
Hi. Portia had been on vacation, and this individual had just moved into the apartments. And he came out of his apartment and asked her to borrow some salt.
Okay, I guess so. Just a minute.
Emergency, are you reporting? I've just been shot twice. Shot? Who shot you? A rapist. Okay, where are you at now? Okay, let's get you an ambulance on the way. Okay. Stay on the line. Do you know who it was? No. He was the guy who was... Okay, Lawrence, we need an ambulance at 7607. Purpose. She was shot by a rapist. Twice, once in the head. You've been shot in the head? Yeah, I'm in the head and in the chest. Okay, you're in a part...
Marion County Sheriff's Dispatcher Victoria Samuels had only been taking calls for a month.
And God forbid if I die. Tell my mother and my father I love them. Okay, do you have a description?
I really almost lost it when she started telling me to call her parents in case she died and started giving me a message to tell them, and I thought, God, I don't want to have to make that call.
Okay, do you have a description of this guy? Is he a white male or a black male? White male. About how old is he? 20s. 20s? Do you know his name? No, he didn't tell me. He's downstairs. Do you know his apartment number? No. Is the ambulance coming? Yeah, they're on their way.
Sheriff's deputies and rescue units were immediately dispatched, including Lawrence Township fire paramedic Jeff Musar.
We had it as a person shot and the suspect was still in the area or on the scene and do not approach. Our fire station's right across the street from the apartment complex where the incident occurred, so we were there within 60 seconds. All we do basically is come in very quietly to the apartment complex and just sit off into a corner until the sheriff's department gets there. Standing by for Marion County.
So is he back downstairs still? Yes. I stopped breathing. He thought he killed me. But you know what? I've got a window. He could shoot me through the back window. You gotta hurry. Okay, it's all right. You locked the door. You're doing all right. We've got everybody on the way.
Sheriff's deputy Kelly Hayes was on routine patrol 3 miles away when the report came over his radio.
The minute you hear, someone has been shot, you automatically know that the suspect's not afraid to use a weapon, and we were advised that he was still in the same area, so your adrenaline's pumping.
He shot me in the chest first, then he raped me. Have you got the bleeding stopped? No. No, it's still bleeding. Do you have have anything to stick on it, like a cloth or your shirt or anything?
My nature was to worry about the medical side, but I had to remember that I'm in the police dispatch. And at this point in time, our protocol isn't to give medical information over the phone.
What kind of a gun was it? Handgun? Okay. Was it a pretty big gun?
And she was breathing real hard, so I was really concerned she would die before they got there.
Okay. You gotta hurry. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. I know he's coming back. He told me he wanted me to go out with him and get in his car, and I said no, and I fought him. Okay.
Assistant Supervisor Edward Bessing was monitoring the call.
We wanted to get an ambulance to her as soon as possible. We couldn't risk the firefighters' lives because we had no idea what was going on, if he was on a rampage or what he was doing.
Do you know if he drives a car, ma'am?
He said he wanted me to go out and get his car with him.
Do you know what kind of car it is?
I was relaying the information that I was receiving to the dispatcher, who was in turn telling the officers in the field.
A newer one? Okay.
Oh, my lips are numb.
Also, you have a gunshot wound to the left side of the chest. Patient's experiencing difficulty breathing. 2-minute ETA.
If any changes, we'll be standing by for the sheriff. The apprehension and the anxiety of just sitting there waiting is the most frustrating part of it. You want to go in, but you know at the same time, if you go in there, you're going to be part of the problem and probably be shot too.
While officers were en route to the scene, a second call came into the sheriff's department.
Dispatch, do you have an emergency?
Yeah, I heard some gunfire going on not too long ago, and I walked in my apartment, you know, and I found my gun wasn't here, so I don't know what's going on.
What's your address?
It's 7607 Ford Drive.
Okay, hold on just a second, okay?
He just seemed kind of weird. Then after I realized it was the same address that the lady was calling from, just a different apartment, I put 2 and 2 together.
And reported a break-in where the firearm has been stolen.
We knew the suspect was now in his apartment. He basically thought the victim was dead. Otherwise, he wouldn't have called in. He would have been up there to finish the job.
Within minutes of the call, officers arrived on the scene.
My main concern was that we've got to approach the situation and get to her without letting him know that we're on to him.
My right arm is paralyzed.
Okay, ma'am, we're almost there.
You gotta hurry, please.
Okay, we're hurrying.
I'm gonna end up dying here while you're talking to me.
That's one of us knocking on the door.
Oh, you said sheriff's department?
34, is that you said sheriff's department?
Yeah. Should I go?
Can you make it? Can you get there to unlock?
I'll get it.
Okay.
To the door.
It's the sheriff's department. Come out here in the hallway and talk to me.
What for?
Your adrenaline starts pumping. You start thinking, man, you know, is he going to come out of his apartment with the gun, or is he going to go ahead with the story that, you know, somebody stole my gun?
Let me see your hands as you come out the door. Go ahead and put your hands straight up.
I don't understand. This is stupid. I don't know why.
What I'm going to do is check you for other weapons, all right? Turn around, face the wall.
At that time, the victim that was upstairs with Officer Hayes shouted out something like, you know, get me the paramedics. I already told you it was the guy downstairs, and all of a sudden his eyes got real big and he started to turn around and look at me, and I went ahead and handcuffed him.
No.
In 12 years that I've worked in this field, that was probably the longest I've ever had to wait. Steve, we got a gunshot wound, left chest, upper chest, and one to the right arm. Her blood pressure was dropping tremendously, and we could not see a lot of blood loss on the outside, so we knew we had a lot of blood loss on the inside. We knew we had no time to lose.
1, 2, 3.
With the amount of blood loss that she had and her vital signs not showing us any encouragement even after a lot of fluids, I had my doubts that she was going to be even stable enough to handle any kind of a surgery.
Portia was rushed to the hospital as Detective Sergeant John Tilton, head of the investigation, arrived on the scene.
Did you go up there tonight?
Yeah, I did.
And why did you go up there? The suspect admitted to attempt murder, rape, confinement, and battery.
Upstairs tonight to rape her.
He was convicted of rape and attempt murder in the courts and took 40 years sentence for each charge, which means he'll be eligible for parole at the end of 40 years, making him a 62-year-old man.
Portia was hospitalized for 10 days, recovering from gunshot wounds to her chest and arm and severe cuts on her head.
She fought him the entire way, and when she saw the second shot coming, she put her hands over her face and then played dead until he left, which in fact saved her life.
Less than a month later, Portia returned to work as an attorney. But the painful memories of that night still linger.
I was terrified, and nothing was as soothing as hearing that operator's voice on the telephone. It was my line to reality, to the world. I do everything 100% now. I play hard, I work hard. I just do everything as if today is my last day.
Allow this for me, please.
You hear so many victims dwell on how terrible things are in life. And yes, what happened to me was terrible, but I now know that I'm a survivor. I've gone on. Right. I'm gonna work.
I think she has a lot more confidence in who she is, and I'm proud that she showed what she had in her.
Big man? For about 2 months after the rape, I was terrified to be in a house in the evening by myself. But I think more than anything, telling the story is very purging. It gets all of it out. I feel sorry for rape victims who can't tell people what has happened to them. If you hold it in, it just eats away at you. But if you can tell it and get it out, you can then go on with your life.